Today, as a consultant, I'd like to brief you an overview of Malaysia's current condition by analyzing the three major economic indicators over the 5-year period from 2016 to 2020, which are GDP, stands for Gross Domestic Product, unemployment rate, and also inflation. Our team has created a visualization presenting the three major indicators over the 5-year period from 2016 to 2020. As you can see from this line graph, the red line indicating the inflation change in percentage has overall been stable, however, drastically dropped after 2017 and fluctuated to negative from 2019 to the year 2020, affected by the COVID-19 and economic slowdown. Following by the green line indicating the unemployment rate, overall has also been stable, but experienced an increasing trend starting from the year 2019, where the pandemic occurred. A significant number of businesses in Malaysia has been closed or reduced as a result of pandemic, resulting in a loss of jobs. Malaysia's tourism and hospitality industries have also been affected by the restriction on movement and international travel. Lastly, the blue line indicating GDP has also experienced a drastic drop after the year 2019, affected by the unemployment rate, consumptions, and exports. Throughout the year 2019, Malaysia was affected by political uncertainty, which slowed down the government decisions and delayed economic policy implementation. Well, overall, the economy grew steadily from 2016 to 2020, and the inflation rate remained stable. However, there was a sharp contraction in the year 2020, and the rate of unemployment rises due to the pandemic. There are several factors that contributed to the oil price surge in economy, which are supply disruption and increasing demand. Supply disruption can happen due to the OPEC production cuts, also geopolitical tensions in the Middle East, which is a major oil-producing region, and also natural disaster like typhoons or hurricanes, and most importantly, due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Next, I'll be passing to Anne to talk about the impacts of oil price surge and the recommended policies used to overcome the current situation.
So thanks, Cindy. Now we'll talk about the positive impact of oil price surge. First, it increases investment in oil or gas sector. By that, it increases the job opportunities. Next, it increases government revenue, as many countries rely on oil export as a significant source of government revenue. In addition, some countries fund public services and infrastructure projects. Third, it boosts to another industry, for example, renewable energy, as business seek out alternative energy source to avoid high oil prices. Fourth, it improves economy and living standards. Last but not least, it reduces Malaysia's fiscal deficit. Next, we'll talk about the negative impact of oil prices. First, the economy growth falls. Next, Malaysia exports become more expensive due to higher transportation costs. Third, increased production costs, price level rises, and reduced competitiveness in global market. Fourth, there's a decrease in the demand and the output will fall. Fifth, decreased purchasing power, consumption, will lead to real GDP fall. Last but not least, inflation, also known as CPI, increase in cost of living.
After talking about the negative impact on oil price surge, we are recommending two policies to solve the current economic situation. One is a contractionary fiscal policy. First, increasing taxes on individuals and businesses. The government can decrease the disposable income and discourage spending and investment. As a result, the aggregate demand will decrease and the economy will be stimulated. Other than that, decreasing in government spending on infrastructure, education, and healthcare will decrease demand for goods and services. As a result, the government's reliance on oil imports will decrease. Next, subsidies can be reduced to businesses or individuals. Last but not least, we can decrease transfer payments by tightening eligibility requirement. Government could also increase the minimum income threshold required to receive welfare payments. In this case, Malaysia has used contractionary fiscal policy successfully in the past to address various economic challenges. As far as I'm concerned, in 2014, Malaysia implemented contractionary fiscal policy to reduce the fiscal deficit by reducing public spending, increase taxes, and cut subsidies. As a result, the fiscal deficit had reduced and maintained investor confidence in the country's economy. So now we'll be moving on to the next slide where we recommend expansionary monetary policy. Central bank can lower interest rate by encouraging borrowings and investment to boost economic activities. By using quantitative easing, central bank can increase money supply and lower term interest rate and will lead to a stimulated investment and consumer spending. In addition, we can increase money supply by decreasing the reserve requirement for banks. The term currency devaluation refers to the decrease in export and increase of domestic demand for goods and services. Rising oil prices can counteract the negative effect of economic growth and trade disruption caused by an increase in oil prices. Now I'll be passing on to Yuhan.
A contractionary fiscal policy inhibits the slowing down of demand growth in society in the short run, usually using two instruments: a reduction in government spending and an increase in taxes. As we can see from the graph, the demand curve shifts to the left and the price level falls as a result of the reduction in investment and spending. This controls inflation and prevents the economy from overheating. Real GDP also increases. A contractionary fiscal policy reduces aggregate demand in the long run. From the graph, we can see the aggregate supply curve shifts to the right, while the price level decreases. Output and GDP are lower, with a reduction in investments, but it leads to a rise in the unemployment rate. At the same time, when supply and demand fall, net exports also fall.
Hi, my name is Xiang. We are going to use an expansionary monetary policy by central bank. First of all, central bank will lower their interest rate, which will encourage more borrowings from people. So with more borrowings, people are able to make more investment, and it can lead to a higher consumption spending. So the demand for goods and services will be increased as well. According to the graph, AD1 will shift to the right. So the new price level for AD1 will above the equilibrium price level. The output, which is their real GDP, will be increased as well, which means unemployment decreases.
Let's move on to the next slide, and I'm gonna talk about the long-run effect of using expansionary monetary policy. So the AD curve will shift to the left due to the higher cost of production in oil. This will lead to a higher price level and the same output that you can see in the graph below. In order to increase the output and decrease the U rate and make it effective using this policy, we should balance the short-term boost in aggregate demand and maintain the price stability by gradually increasing the interest rates once the immediate impact of the oil price surge has been offset by expansionary policy. So this can prevent inflationary pressure. Government can also invest in sectors such as renewable energy to boost the aggregate supply to the right. This will reduce the impact of the oil price surge on production costs and maintain the price stability, which will increase the output and price level, decrease the unemployment rate in the long-run economy. All in all, expansionary and contractionary fiscal policy both play a crucial role in addressing the oil price surge in short run and long run, as reducing inflation pressure and the unemployment rate are vital. However, the appropriate policy response will depend on a range of factors, including the underlying causes of the oil price surge, the specific goals of government, and the broader economic and political context. According to a few journal articles found online, alongside of accommodative monetary policy, the Malaysian government also employed income supportive measure to lower income household, tax relief to low-income individuals, and a reduction on EPF contribution by employees, which have not only helped elevate the plight of poor households, but also contributed to country's economic resilience. Moreover, GST and subsidies are also introduced in the April of 2015.